the prediction, I think, in my view, is if the same cycle was to repeat, we are looking at, I would say, a minimum of very conservatively thinking.
Hey Bitcoiners, welcome back to SatsOverCents. I am Varun, your host. So in today's video, we are diving into where our community and the world of Bitcoin are headed in the coming months, right? So we'll take a look what to expect from our channel and of course share the price prediction for Bitcoin by the end of this year. So AJ, where should our listeners expect to go in the coming months? And what's your price prediction for Bitcoin by the end of this year? And what they should be expecting when it comes to the technical analysis part, you being the specialist. So what should be they expecting in this year, 2025?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Welcome to SatsOverCents. So, talking about Bitcoin price for 2025, this is purely from a technical analysis basis. So, I will look at the charts and I can share the charts as well. The basic gist is we've seen this cycle of Bitcoin structure formulate time and again. This is probably the fifth time the cycle is repeating itself after halving. Of course, not every cycle is identical, but they are almost similar in my view. So when I talk about that and I look at the charts, I can see that before the recent previous all-time high, so before December last month when it touched 108,000 US dollars, before that, the all-time high was around $73,777, and that it reached on the 11th of March of last year, 2024. And if you look at the price before that, the all-time high before that, it was it was on the 8th of November, 2021, and that was around 69,000 US dollars. So the reason I'm sharing these numbers with you is after every halving cycle, so before 2024 halving cycle, the cycle was in 2020, right? So in 2020, the price, went as low as, have a look here, around 28,000 US dollars, right? This is around the 21st of June, 2021. And then from there, so 28,000, it went to 69,000, right? And then it came down again. In 2022, 2023, early 2023, it reached around 16,000, US dollars. And we know since December of 2022, which was the recent low of, Bitcoin price, the price has quadrupled since then. So it's now trending around 100,000 US dollars. So the prediction, I think, in my view, is if the same cycle was to repeat, we are looking at, I would say, a minimum of very conservatively thinking of 180,000 US dollars. And the range, again, every cycle is similar, but it's different. It's not identical. So I think it could be from 180,000 as the low of the range to as much as 500,000 to high of the range, right? I don't know. It's no the answer is not genius because anybody can say a range of 180 to $500,000, and if it lands anywhere in between. And I'm not trying to be a genius here. All I'm saying is based on the technicalities of the chart, I think that the price should minimum go to 180,000 US dollars in 2025. Now, when that happens is entirely depending on what, President Trump, how he talks about Bitcoin. As we know, he's pro Bitcoin and he's pro cryptocurrencies in his manifesto for this presidency. So if he says anything against that or anything that is contradictory to what he or his manifesto said before the elections or before he was, he took the seat, then that's going to have a negative impact on the price. But like I said, this cycle should roll out the same way like previous cycles. It won't be identical. There'll be slightly upper highs and slightly lower lows where we might not expect the price to go. That's just the way, technical analysis in the chart and the price action works. And the expectation would be that, at least in the 2025, that's where the price should be. Now, it could reach there in January. It could reach there in December of 2025. that guess is entirely, speculative. I would say that's entirely a guess, really. Nobody knows for sure. But based on the technicalities, the bull run should run at least 350 days from the last halving cycle. And I could see based on the price point and the price action that I would expect anywhere between Q4 of 2025 and Q1 of 2026 for the price to reach its peak before it gets into any sort of consolidation or any bear cycle.
Sounds interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's from purely technical point of view. So I want to show you quickly my chart. I want to just quickly share my screen here and share this with you. So I'm just sharing my screen now, and I'll zoom in a little bit to show you. This is the weekly chart. Let's go on the monthly actually. So that's the monthly, and let me just actually remove all these markings. So yeah, as you can see, price, as I was saying, December of 2022. Where it hit the bottom here as my mouse, and then it consolidated around here, which was from March of 2024 until the October of 2024. And then, as we know, November, it gave a nice breakout. So usually when this happens, there is generally a tendency for price to come down to this high for the price to retest. This price has never been retested. Okay, so this is I'm talking about is 70 to 73,000 US dollars. Now, I'm not saying it's going to come down to this price point. Sometimes, Bitcoin never retests the same levels. Yeah, it could be that it never comes back, but at least once I would expect the price to come down, as you can see here. So if I draw a line here, if you see this high, this is technical analysis. This was resistance, broke resistance, took support. When it fell in the bear cycle, it took support at somewhere on the same price point, and then it kind of shot up. So in the next cycle, whenever that is, and let me remove all these cyclic drawings. Let me start fresh. So in the next cycle, whenever the price comes down, it should come down to this 73,777 level. My expectation would be, if at all, it comes down to this level, it should come here, take support, and then bounce back from here. Something like that, I'm not saying it will happen straight away. It might not even happen, it might not even come down for years or months to come. But if at all, for any negative reasons, there has to be a negative catalyst news from the president's side. Yeah, I'm talking about Donald Trump here, for the price to come down to as low as 73,000. I think there'll be a lot of people sitting here with their bags full of cash to buy Bitcoin at this level. But, and I'm surely going to be one if it happens, but I don't think that it's going to come down to this level very easily or ever, to be honest with you. But that's what technical analysis is. The other interesting point I wanted to share with you all very quickly is look at this trend, right? So this is where I think what Varun and I have been talking about is if you dollar cost average all the way up, whether you bought here, and then here. So you're dollar cost averaging all the way. You don't have to worry about, the price, your balance being in negative. Even if it goes in negative and you're still buying, ultimately you're going to be on the upside because Bitcoin's price is only meant for one direction. And you can see that on the chart, what that direction is. It's the only way up. So that's it from me in terms of technical. I'm going to pass on the mic to you, Varun, again, to talk more about what the fundamentals.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you just said. Yes, conservative would be between 180,000 to 220. That's my conservative approach, the base case, what I've mentioned in the previous video as well. But I feel this time could be different. So I'm not expecting it to be like previous cycles where, every 4 years because of halving, you see, a certain pattern. I see none of those pattern will work in this cycle because there are nations now moving into Bitcoin, and we know that there will never be more than 21 million. And currently, if I talk about purely about fundamentals, in I would say roughly about 25 years of having gold ETF, 20 years or 25 years, I don't remember. They have about 33, $34 billion invested into gold ETF. But they haven't completed a year yet in Bitcoin ETF. And they have already reached $55 billion, which is almost double of what gold is today. But it took them nearly 2 decades for them to reach 33 billion. And in just less than 1 year, they have $55 billion in Bitcoin ETF. And that is purely BlackRock. But there are other companies as well who's got their ETF, right? And we know now MicroStrategy has got 450,000 Bitcoin. And today's tweet, I'm expecting that Michael Saylor will announce again that he bought some Bitcoin today or tomorrow or whatever. You will see that on the X platform. So coming back to that, and we know now after US, once they announce it, every other nation is going to follow that. And Putin has already mentioned that they'll be using Bitcoin for international trade because BRICS will no longer have their own currency because, lack of a better term, they're all dictators. So they will not trust each other. They have to look at a common currency. They don't want to use dollar because of the sanctions that was imposed on Russia. So they know that if this can happen to the third largest country, it can happen to anybody. When I say third largest, I mean the third most powerful nation, right? So Bitcoin is going to be used for international trade, and we see that there are a lot of there are a lot of public companies and private companies who are holding Bitcoin as part of their balance sheet, and this is going to be the new norm moving forward. So I feel this cycle is different, and if you have to ask me, I think so 350,000. My personal prediction. Okay, and none of this is a financial advice. Please do your own research, as we've been mentioning this on our channel. But if it reaches 500,000, I wouldn't be surprised. So 350 is my lower limit, and my upper limit is 500,000. But if I also have to have a plan B, and the plan B is 180 to 200. But I don't see Bitcoin crossing gold market cap in this year, and I don't know whether we'll have similar cycles. But I don't think so. We will have similar cycles as previous one. So it no longer. So there is a high possibility that we all might not see a Bitcoin in 5 figures. It is only going to be in 6 figures.
Yes, so I was saying, really excited about that. Can't wait to see Bitcoin in six figures, and looking forward to when that happens.
Thank you so much for tuning into SatsOverCents, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.